You ready?
I'm ready, baby.
I don't know. My
I
eyes
don't know if he's
feel.
ready. He's a walk in.
My eyes feel like dragon, bro. Like they're. Like they're not.
Dragging these nuts.
God, so bad.
Got him.
Like I just feel like my eyes are just gonna like fall out of my face. I swear I didn't.
You take anything before
I
this?
swear
or-
I didn't do shrooms, but it just feels like that. Let's go.
This your forecast.
Bang, baby.
Bang.
We're back
Bang.
with a vengeance.
Bang.
We had some time off,
Mm-hmm.
but we're back.
Bang.
Good time period to take a little break. Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah. It's hot.
It's so hot.
Fucking hot. Bro.
You guys see, there's actually, we don't even know heat because the UK has a heat wave right now. It hit like 78 degrees
No.
yesterday.
No.
Hottest day in like 3 years.
Now is that Celsius?
No.
I was gonna say 78 Celsius is probably like Mars.
Yeah, I don't think I can survive that kind of temperature.
All I know is it's hot.
Yeah.
It's real hot.
Like
I'm
today,
burnt out.
yeah, it hit 102 down in Baltimore. Was
Are you gonna make it hot with your buy and sell?
that was so lame,
I have
bro.
the,
We
I
can do
tried.
that. Do a
I
different
tried.
one. Do something else. That was so lame. Oh my gosh.
I got some money burning a hole in my pocket. All right, that's how hot it is
That
out.
was okay.
And it's time to buy
I'm
some
down.
players.
It's time to buy, baby.
Jake started out, man.
Well,
First buy.
I'm more worried about buying a car, so I kind of need one right now. So.
What's harder, buying an elite asset
Oh,
or buying a car?
Oh.
Cars are all over the place. You can just. I drove by a car parking lot for a lot on the way here, and there was a million cars.
I do need to stop there, but yeah. No, I don't want to give out a buy that's like really gay. Like I could say to buy like Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton, everybody kind of knows to buy him, even though you should buy Cortland Sutton because a lot of people don't have him as valued as high as he actually is. Or like J.J. McCarthy, Sam Darnold, like those are kind of guys like. I feel like everybody kind of feels like they're gonna do good. I don't think that's like that big, but I think Anthony Richardson's my buy. I think Anthony Richardson's my buy. Yeah. I like him. Dude, I like him. He had a sophomore slump. He had time to learn. I don't think... Is Shane Steichen still there? I'm saying shit and I don't even fucking know
He is.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, Shane Steichen, I think he's a great offensive mind. I think he's going to make it so like easier for Anthony Richardson to do better. And I think I can't say last year was a fluke. I think it's going to make Anthony Richardson prove himself this year. Because if he doesn't prove himself this year, man, I think we're going to be done with him like forever. Like we're still holding on to Trevor Lawrence for whatever reason, but I think if
At least he's a starter. I mean, Trevor Lawrence.
who else is starting in the Colts? You're going to say Daniel Jones?
I am
it.
going to say Daniel Jones.
Richardson is banged up right now. He has a shoulder thing going on.
Already
we don't
has a
care.
shoulder injury.
We don't care.
I will say
We
this.
He's young.
I think there's something to be said for, first of all, the price. Like it's
Oh, yeah.
anybody that you can
Yeah.
get that cheap. Like there's people who would probably move Richardson for a 28 second right
Yeah.
now and just say good riddance. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore. But we've seen this kind of with Justin Fields before, where obviously like I think Justin Fields is bad at
Yeah.
at NFL football, but when he's on the field, he scores you buckets of fantasy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Richardson is like the slightly worse version of that at both NFL football and for fantasy, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because he's also shown those huge flashes for fantasy, right?
Mhm.
And he like we've watched games where he completes 9 passes and he scores 35 fantasy points.
Yep.
And he's just one of those. There's very few guys who can do something like that at the quarterback position, and there's not a whole lot of longevity to that. But I think there's something to be said about knowing when you can play him.
Yeah.
Like if he's starting, you can probably play Richardson. He had a few real bad duds last year. I remember a negative game in there that
Yeah.
those hurt.
Yeah.
You lost, and it was because of him. But because of that as well, you also know when to cut bait. Like
Yeah.
if he doesn't do it this year, you can just drop him. Like
Yeah.
all right, I lost that bet. It is what it is. You know, now freed up the roster spot.
Try and
Whereas
see if anybody will.
like
get
there isn't
hurt.
really an in between for me where I think it's like do I cut Richardson? Like do I hold on? Like I can't really sell him for anything. I think it's either I found a starter for the next few years or I have nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't mind that.
Yeah, I think the price tag's super cheap, so like you're not really gonna be too hurt from it.
We talked about this with Jordan, how he could get all the Cleveland Browns QBs.
Yeah.
I like the idea of getting both Richardson and
Jones.
Daniel Jones, and you probably got your starter at least for this year between the two of them.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you do that, you'd be hoping that it's Richardson that's going to be
Yeah.
the guy that ends up taking over.
Right.
But to me, that's a concern when it comes to buying him when Daniel Jones is looking awesome, and well, not awesome, like, and where they're at now and whatever they call it, OTAs, and Anthony Richardson's hurt again.
So was
He's
Shadur.
not even there.
Shadur was looking really good too, but I don't read too much into all the OTAs, mini camps and stuff like that.
Nor should you.
Not till we get to preseason at least, man. Like, but no, I just think I think Shane Steichen's gonna be able to turn it around. I don't know. I like both of the guys. I like that. And you said something about Justin Fields being bad, but like we saw it whenever he got to the Steelers. He was like, we all liked him. Like, we all pretty much liked Steelers Justin Fields, and who knows, he might be even decent on the Jets. I doubt it. But you got to think, he was on the Bears for 4 years, and you guys know how I hate the Bears, the Jets. Like, they suck. Like, they just couldn't get their shit together. They couldn't make players good, unlike where the Steelers can make players good. And if Justin Fields can learn something from that and then add his own stuff into it, but I know Richardson's not really getting a change up, but like I think Shane Steichen can't be. I mean, he's got to be able to learn with Richardson to be able to know how to use him. So, plus Shane Steichen was an old Eagle, baby.
I'll give you a guy that's a coach that's good with running backs. Sean McVay.
Ooh.
That's why I'm gonna put my money where my mouth already was, or my money where my whatever. Kyron Williams, I already bought him.
What are you putting where your mouth is?
I already did.
Can I put my money where your mouth is?
Yeah, as long as I get to keep it after.
Well, I mean, we can make a bet.
How much money are we talking? Kind of like throw pennies in your mouth, or?
Do you even know what kind of bet are we making? Do you even know who I'm gonna say right now?
No, I thought it would be fun to put money in your face.
Because you already made the trade. You already bought in on the guy.
I did. Kyron Williams.
That's a buy?
To me, it's a buy. I already bought him.
Buy a top 5 running back. Yeah.
He's not a top 5
He's not
running
a top 5, man.
Oh, come on.
He's not. He's trade cut, probably RB 9, 10.
Well, just because
11 maybe, 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Well, hey, people are stupid, and that's why you take advantage of him.
That is crazy. He's an absolute buy. I mean, if you can afford him, but I'm not.
He's probably back-to-back years as a top 8 or 9 running back now.
He was 7.
One thing I read was
7 twice in a row.
I read an article where they said that the running backs most likely to lose their spot as a starter, and whatever article it was, whoever wrote it, and he was top 5 on that list.
It's because he's on the last year of his deal.
Yeah, last year of his deal, he doesn't have the draft capital to back him up. They drafted 2 running backs 2 years in a row. Problem is, he's really good at football.
Yeah.
Like he's one of those guys where it's like the Rams have their guy. You know, I don't know how much money he's gonna really command on the open market in general. It seems
like that Cortland Sutton, where it's
he doesn't
for some
have
reason he just doesn't have the name value.
Yeah, the name value, and then they just don't have elite traits. He's an elite football player, and he fits that system to a T. The Rams know him. He knows their system. It makes too much sense for him to get a deal done before the season even starts, in my opinion. But
that's what I'm counting on. That's the whole reason that I'm buying here is that they've been talking about getting a deal done. He said something about it in an interview, getting a deal done. McVay said something about it. Also, Snead said something about it.
Willie
That's what
Snead?
I'm counting on.
What are we listening to Willie Snead for?
I don't know what his first name
Les.
is. But he's the guy that runs the show there in Los Angeles for the Rams.
I'm sure he doesn't, though.
Somebody does. But he's the
Is
one
it
that's
still no, Les Snead is the GM, I believe. Stan Kroenke owns the team, right?
Kroenke.
Is that or is the other way around? I don't remember. One of them's the owner, one of them's the GM.
I want to say Snead's the GM.
I believe you're correct.
I'm counting on a deal getting done. Sean McVay is just known to produce running backs when he has one that he likes.
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about Henderson the other day. When he was a starter, he was a running back.
It's not like you get 80% of the snaps. Like Israel runs
they're one of the few systems left that you can count on. You know, even if Kyron goes down, okay, if they say Blake Corum starting, I can play Blake Corum fantasy, no doubts. I'm going to get 15 plus touches.
Yeah.
So
I guess the theory for that is basically you don't want to give away what your play is going to be. If you have a all-around kind of running back, as opposed to
change of pace, like when Derrick Henry's in the game.
Right, you kind of know
Ball's going to Derrick Henry.
Right, yeah.
Justice Hill comes in. Okay, Lamar's going to do some magic. Like, yeah, I like Kyron a lot. He's actually one of the guys that would have been on my list if we went a little bit further than one at a time, but. I'm going a little bit deeper with my buy. You know, you're going with the stud. You went really deep, so I'm going to kind of split the difference.
I do hear that you go deep a lot, so.
I mean, not as deep as my boy Josh Downs.
Let's go.
Nobody goes deep like Josh Downs, baby. Pairing him up with AR.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, he scored 13 points per game last year. He had 170 targets in 14 games, I believe. Like, just getting targeted out the ass.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, just unreal.
Not out the ass.
He was tied for third in targets per route run among all qualified players.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the names on this list, it's not like, oh, this guy got targeted a lot like Wan'Dale Robinson. He ran a lot of routes and got a lot of targets, but he didn't make it, like, to this threshold.
Yeah.
The guys above him are Rashee Rice, makes sense, right? Like, he was just being absolutely peppered.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's him tied with A.J. Brown and Drake London.
Wow.
And then you get into Amon-Ra, Malik Neighbors, like all high-end guys. He's the only guy who really didn't have the fantasy production to back it up.
Yeah.
And not that, the advanced metrics are everything. But it's
it
clear that, like, the
something,
talent is there. And in my opinion, I think, especially this year, if they can get one of these quarterbacks, throwing the ball with some accuracy. Like, I actually think for Downs' potential, Daniel Jones is the safer option for him to be a better fantasy performer this year.
For sure.
But if Anthony Richardson does put it together and he can figure it out and he can get to I don't think, in my opinion, Anthony Richardson needs to be some 70% completion percent of passing.
Yeah.
If he can get to 60% and just be at, like, one of the worst starters completion-wise in the league, he will be a very big difference maker on the football field.
Absolutely.
And that's good for Josh Downs because there's not many guys with an arm like AR.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is AR. I feel like his deep ball is his game. And
he does want it.
And
he wants it. He just can't hit it.
That gets me hard for the amount of points that you can get from that.
Yeah, there's big boom potential. That's the kind of stack.
5 big booms for AR and Josh Downs. Boom, boom.
Love that, baby.
Boom,
5 big booms, baby. Give it to him.
Let's go.
Josh Downs, he's perfect for best ball, I think.
Oh yeah, I love that. I absolutely love
Whiskey.
best ball.
Quit being stupid, man. He must see a rabbit or a squirrel or
Yeah,
something.
These are the guys I avoid though in regular fantasy because like
well, that's
it's
why
gonna
you
be
buy him
underlined-
cheap, baby.
Well,
I'm gonna beat his butt. 1 second. Hey,
yeah, he's
get out of there.
just a big ball guy.
Christ.
You want a guy that catches a lot of passes.
You do.
That's what you want.
You definitely do. Targets don't score you fantasy.
Well, think about this. It kind of matches right up with what I'm saying. Is if Shane Steichen can figure out a way to do some RPOs or some like screen passes, short little slants or something to get Josh Downs the ball or any of them the ball, really. That kind of, I mean, it makes sense that, and like you said, if you can get up to 60%, like you got to hit those short passes. So I mean, you get some more value, more targets, more volume and shit. So.
I do agree, though. That's the kind of thing I would want in the best ball league is a stack like that. But I think there's like a niche kind of build for those kind of players where, like, if you're being realistic, you're not the favorite to win in, all of your leagues.
Yeah.
There's going to be some leagues where you're looking like a middle of the pack team or it's like, I'm not quite there.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those teams that's like on the fringe and you want to go for it, those are like high upside kind of buys that aren't super expensive, that at least give you a shot if they pan out. Like, it's okay, now I could be in the mix.
Yeah, you're wanting that, like Nico Collins. He waited till his third year to sort of
explode. Bloom is the word, bro. He did
blossom.
Yes, but let me ask you this: who'd you rather have, DeMarco
Murray? Yeah.
That's what I was going.
Who am I thinking of?
DeMarcus Ware.
No, the guy from the
DeMarcus
Patriots.
Cousins.
Demarius DeMar.
What position are we talking about?
Wide receiver for the.
Demario Douglas.
Yes.
Oh, Pop
Douglas. Yeah. So who'd you? Josh Downs or Douglas? Who do you want?
I'm taking Downs there.
Oh man.
I like Pop.
I think Downs has shown more as a player. However, Drake May takes a step forward. Pop Douglas takes a little step forward. I can see it.
Downs is the high risk, high reward. And, I think just being on the Patriots and the way they are, I feel like you kind of got to go with Downs if you're going to make that.
Yeah, if the scenario you were just talking about where you're just trying to buy guys hoping they
Pan out.
explode.
Yeah.
Right.
Josh Downs is more the guy, but if you're if you need a wide receiver 5 for some reason,
Josh Downs with the 6.
Yeah, you're looking for a bye week fill, and he knows probably not going to blank you. At least he'll get 4 or 5 targets or something.
Yeah,
He's safe. There's room for upside. I could see him, turning into a Wandale Robinson kind of guy where, just high targets, short at the line of scrimmage, and then hopefully, he can make something happen. Pop.
Yeah. I like Pop.
I like that idea with Wes Welker and Edelman in the
yeah, but Pop is
offense.
black.
Yeah, that's true.
Pop's black though.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's a big negative in New England.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, that's pretty racist, Bob.
Whoa, it's New England. They're pretty racist. So.
It's not on me. It's on.
I'm not from New England. I'm just telling you how New England is. I love Jaden Daniels. That's my guy, baby. That's that kid.
All right, who's yourself?
Yeah, it's you know what? I don't know. Just you guys are gonna have better answers than me.
Let's run it back the opposite direction. I can start with
direction,
myself for you.
Okay.
This is going to be kind of funny because you already hit on half of this, so I'm going to hit the other half.
Okay.
Let's
My sell is Saquon Barkley.
Okay. I
You
like
guys do this every
I love it.
fucking time.
And
It pisses me off. They make the same argument with AJ Brown, or who else?
You haven't even heard his
Jefferson.
argument yet.
I hate you guys. I hate you guys already. I don't like.
all right, do you want to hear my argument?
Yes.
Okay. My argument.
It's not going to go up from here.
That's actually not my argument.
Okay.
I think
Okay, then I can respect this.
It's not that I think that Saquon's going to fall off. That's probably not going to happen. You have a very, very real shot at Saquon being minimum top 5 the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Potential for number 1 running back. There's not a whole lot of guys, I can count that on one hand that I can say that about.
Yeah.
However, he's starting to get to the point where other people are going to look at the age and the amount of touches he's had in his career and stuff. And then if he has one injury where he's out for 6 games or something at the end of the year, everybody's out on Saquon and everybody hates Saquon.
Yeah.
And because of that, I just think that at the running back position specifically, there's a lot of really good players who don't have the value associated with the stats like Saquon does.
Fair.
And my very first example was going to be Kyron Williams. So obviously Kyron's not quite Saquon, but I can put him in on my lineup, and on any given week I can get the same production. It's just not as likely.
Yeah.
And that's really all I'm looking for there. And you got a second on top of Kyron for Saquon. I think you can get more. Like I realistically think you can get a first in Kyron from a manager who's a little bit worried about the contract thing. And Saquon just got paid, highest paid running back in the league, just ran for 2,000 yards. Like I really think you can swing that. And in my opinion, their timelines are similar. They're both relatively safe, and I can pocket a first-round pick, or maybe I'm getting a Jaden Higgins or Trey Harris, one of those early second-round picks that's could really add a little bit something extra to my team.
I think it's crazy that you're a Dodgers fan, because you literally think about fantasy like you're an Orioles, like you're part of the Orioles organization. I feel like we already talked about this.
I'm not paying the old guy. Get him out of here.
You're like the old guy. Trade him for somebody young. It's gonna pan out. But then the Orioles, to be fair, like I'm saying this like you're stupid, but the Orioles are stupid. So they trade all their old people and take all these new people,
right,
and they end up sucking or whatever. But at least like you'd actually know a little bit what you're talking about. So.
I think Derrick Henry has really changed it with running backs to where people sort of forget that this is about the age that running backs start to fall off.
Yeah,
like it wasn't long ago, everybody was selling a running back when they turned 29 because they're remembering Todd Gurley, they're remembering Le'Veon Bell, and I'm just looking at the historical odds. And as great as he was last year, it's like, how much longer is it going to last?
Right.
Well, he is like a unique player, and look at him jumping over somebody backwards.
There's certain guys that I'm just not willing to bet against. And Saquon and Henry are like the two at running back right now where it wouldn't surprise me if both of them ran for 2K this year.
Right.
It really wouldn't surprise me.
The only thing I don't understand, and I kind of like really want to go against that, is that why would you not take that amount of points? If you like, let's say, I mean, there's a really good chance that next 2 years Saquon could have top 5 capabilities.
Right.
I would say, I feel like if he does, which we all expect him to, I feel like he doesn't lose that much value this year. You know what I'm saying? Just because he gets 1 year older, we already think he's old, because he's 28. Or
what if he look at McCaffrey?
Yeah. What about him?
His value tanked.
Yeah, because he has broken legs.
Well, that's what he's saying. That could happen. Something like that.
You're right. It could happen, but I mean, you might as well benefit from the points that you're getting. Now, I agree. If you're not really, it's not that much of a downgrade to go from Saquon to Kyron.
Right.
So I mean, if you can get a good deal, you can't be mad at that.
Even somebody like Henry, I don't necessarily have to go younger. You know, like somebody who's drafted Amari in Hampton, they're not going to want to give him a plus some high value piece.
Yeah.
But the right team who's like, I could open my window up another couple of years by going from Henry to Saquon.
Yeah.
Or realistically, to me, it's still kind of the same.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry just got paid too.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
The Ravens can't really get rid of him. I'm fine with saying I'll get older and still take that first round pick, because really to me the odds don't change. It's just all these guys are in the same realm, and if my running back blows out his leg, I'm SOL.
Yeah.
At least this way, if my running back blows out his leg, I got a first.
Yeah.
Right.
I added the first, so.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going with running back. He hasn't signed a deal, and he's younger. Jameer Gibbs. I'm selling Jameer Gibbs.
I'll send some offers your way.
That's
Jameer
crazy.
Gibbs, so
That's crazy.
in that league though, the only thing that's gonna make me maybe pause is that I have Montgomery too. So I like having that's not a stack. I don't know what you would call that, but
It's just fun to have. Yeah.
It's just cool. You got Sonic and Knuckles.
It's not even a cuff. It's not a cuff.
Yeah, it's not a handcuff. It's, hey, I have a top 5 running back and a top 15 running back. Yeah, that's cool.
That's crazy. Cause
and I only have to watch one
sure,
game to watch my top 2 running backs. I only have to flip the channel.
I'm pretty sure, I know you're a straight man, but I feel like you would go gay for Jameer Gibbs. I feel like you would.
Why am I selling him right now?
I don't know.
I hate to do it.
I don't know why you're selling right now. I'm still waiting to hear some kind of justification.
Okay. A couple things. The line.
They
had an
I swear to
historic.
God, if you do it, I swear to God, I'm going to be pissed.
He cannot go. He cannot get any better. No. First of all, his best lineman just retired.
He did.
Ben Johnston's
Dude, Panini Sewell didn't
Yeah, I was going to
retire.
say, whoa, is it maybe second best?
Wait,
best
is his name
run
Panini?
blocking guy.
Panay.
Panay. So Panini is that's the cards.
And, anytime there's ever been a top 5 running back on the same team as that whole Sonic and Knuckles thing, how often does it happen again? We're talking about real huge outliers for this team. And if they're going to keep split, and he's gotten 20 touchdowns the last 2 years, relying on that without the volume, it's a big concern for me. The
only concern that I would have is that you did just lose your offensive coordinator who made it work.
Right.
That would be my only concern, but I feel like if I'm an offensive coordinator and I just saw what the Lions just did the last couple of years with those two, how do you not just be like, we're just going to do the same thing? That's exactly what I would do.
I don't think I'm looking to sell Jameer Gibbs, and there's a chance I'd be looking to buy actually.
Okay.
Because
why don't you guys make a deal right here? First
hand. What I'll say about Gibbs is I think that there's room to grow. There's room for upside. There's plenty of potential for him to get more touches in the offense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously, he's one of the most efficient backs in the league, and with the volume, that doesn't always stick. Devon Achane's a prime example of that. He had 150 more touches than he did the year before, and he dropped down from 9 yards a carry to 4.5 or whatever. I'm fine with that. If I can get the guaranteed consistent work, I love that. And once David Montgomery got hurt around midseason, we got to see Jameer Gibbs unleashed for the first time, where he was the guy. They didn't have anybody else, and it was some special stuff. It was really an incredible run from him. And he kept it up through, the end of the season when David Montgomery got back. It was actually kind of concerning to start the season because David Montgomery got a lot more passing work than I was anticipating until his injury. And then after the injury, it seems like he didn't get nearly as much as what was, coming his way before. And not that he's not a deserving player, but I think Jahmyr Gibbs has kind of earned the right to be called one of the most electric athletes in football at this point.
I feel like
so I'm in on him, but it is tough because value-wise, where does he go? He doesn't. Like this is as high as it gets.
Going down.
You can't be worth more than one. So it's a toss-up if you have no.
You guys have already lost. You already lost on those. Like so Justin Jefferson, he's not going to get any better, so you might as well just sell him. Well, he's just staying the same at top freaking 3.
Yeah, well, it's all relative, right? Like it's not sell Jahmyr Gibbs because he can't get better. It's sell Jahmyr Gibbs because I can get Travis Hunter and Nico Collins for him. I can add 2 legit assets.
I wouldn't give you that shit. I would say go screw yourself, bud.
I would.
You would respond to the trade offer.
I would.
You didn't open the app.
Now, if you give me 20 FAB,
maybe I'll think about you. Maybe a 28 third.
You could probably get 30. Let's be.
Yeah, you can nickel and dime him. Yeah. You might as well.
The Justin Jefferson though is a little bit of a different thing because he's getting 170 targets every year.
Yep.
With Gibbs, it's like he's getting 200 carries and 70. But like he's been propped up for the touchdowns. That's what's the concern for me, and the fact that he's splitting time. If they cut Montgomery right now, I would take him off the list.
Yeah.
I would not sell him. It's a. I don't know who's your sell.
Well, that's funny.
Getting beat up about
Mine's
this.
David Montgomery. No. Thinking I'm gonna sell. I think right now, if you haven't sold Tom Brady, you need to get rid of him. So I would say him. No, actually, I did think about it, and it took me like literally while you guys were talking. I was thinking while not really paying attention to you guys because my opinion is probably more important. But I think Justin Herbert. I think I'm kind of done with Justin Herbert. And I will still keep him on my team. I don't have to sell him. I would sell him. I think I'm kind of done with him because he had that great rookie year, and ever since it's just kind of been mid. And I think his name value is just higher than his actual value. And I think when your name's better than your actual value, I think you can go.
Time to move on.
Like I think you can get good stuff for Justin Herbert. So like
I think you can get great stuff. For
and like the last 4 years, he's been around 10, and 10's good, but it's I just feel like you can get so much more than just the top 10.
When he's been valued at 2, 3, 4, 5 over the last 3 years or so.
Yeah, so I mean. I love Justin Herbert as a player. I think he's a great player. I just feel like his fantasy value is just not as where his name value is. I feel like you can just sell him and get some good shit for him.
I think now is actually a decent time to sell somebody like that. I don't know if I'd be able to do it because I am chronically online, so I also buy into all the hype trains. So it's super unfortunate for me because I can't capitalize on guys like me.
Everybody's saying
because I am that guy. Yeah, exactly, right? I'll be honest, Josh Downs is the one that's blowing up everywhere I look right now, where everybody's talking about Josh Downs.
Because they did that one.
And I happen to fall in love with him too, and it sucks. But
wait, what happened with him? Something happened with him?
No, just
Reddit and Matt Harmon released a video, and now these people talk about it. Yeah, people love Matt Harmon.
We've said this literally 2 years ago when we started. Never buy the hype.
Correct, you don't. But Josh Downs! Josh Downs is going to be somebody, all right? And I'm trying to help people out.
He's the exception.
It's all price relative, right?
Yeah.
I'm not buying in on a hype train for a first round pick.
Yeah. But you could probably get him for. It is you can get him cheap. Yeah.
But yeah, so the hype around the Chargers and Herbert and stuff right now, with the way Ladd finished the year, Chargers won a playoff game, right?
I don't know if they ever had.
I don't think they did, but Ladd had 200 yards or something.
Yeah.
I don't think they won a playoff game last year.
Yeah, they lost against Houston.
Yeah, they lost.
where Justin Herbert had
Herbert had
7 points.
An awful game in the playoffs.
Oh, I remember.
But that's the thing is, people remember it when you bring it up, but we didn't even remember, who they played, if they won. We don't remember Herbert having his worst game of his entire career in the playoffs. We remember, man, they kind of found something with Herbert and Ladd McConkey at the end of the year there when they started opening it up.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to remember this is a Jim Harbaugh-ran football team with Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator. They just drafted Omari and Hampton. They signed Najee Harris.
Yeah.
This team is going to pound the rock.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic here. Herbert is not leading the league in passing attempts like we all want.
Yeah.
I would love to watch Justin Herbert throw the ball 50 times a game because I think he throws one of the most beautiful balls in the entire NFL, and he's super talented. I'm way higher on Herbert than most people are. Like, as a real quarterback, he's in my top 5.
Yeah,
like, if I'm starting an NFL team, he's in my top 5 personally. But for fantasy purposes, I think it's a good sell right now. Especially because you have options now, right? Like, you can go to the guy that just drafted Trey Harris and offer him Herbert.
Yeah.
You can go to the guy with Ladd and offer him Herbert. And both those guys are going to be absolutely thrilled to have an offer in their inbox where they get Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Dude, Bradley's been asking you about trading for Herbert for a long time.
I know Bradley probably doesn't watch the videos, but Bradley can go suck himself because he always wants to he's like you with trading sometimes, I will say. Like, whenever we're like, hey, I'll do Ladd McConkey for Drake May straight up, and then you're like, yeah, I'll do that. And then you're like, oh, well, value says I need a third.
You know why I did that, right?
Because you're stupid.
Because the calculator is always right.
No, because you think that I always have to win a trade or something like that, probably. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, well, I didn't look it up or anything. Like,
how'd you know?
Justin Herbert last year was 12. The year before that, he was injured 4 games, but he got 17, which is pretty decent. And then the year before that, he was 11. The year before that, he was 2. But I still feel like he hasn't lost any value since he was number 2. Like, I still feel like people
people still respect him. And I think you can take Herbert and you can down tier to somebody a little bit older, like Baker Mayfield, and still get real value on top.
I feel like you could trade
and you might be getting the better fantasy player.
Yeah.
Like, you will. I mean, over the last 2 years, Baker has been better fantasy production-wise ever since he stepped foot in Tampa.
And I feel like you could probably still get more. Like, I feel
that's
like
what I mean. Yeah, like, you can get Baker and grab a first-round pick. You can get Baker and like a legit receiver or something.
Let's just give a bonus buy that we all.
Go get Baker Mayfield.
He's going to run it himself, trying to stick on Murphy, and gets a couple of extra yards.
Wait up, little boy!
Okay, Baker. That's the Baker Mayfield we know.
Wait up!
Baker Mayfield.
Like, go add Baker Mayfield to your fantasy.
I would
You're
sell
gonna
him.
have fun.
You get to buy a QB2 who could give you QB2.
Yeah.
Yes.
True. Yeah, I would
There's
sell
not many out there like that.
I would sell him. And actually, I did. See you later, Stinky.
Yep.
It would be tough for me to sell Herbert, though.
It
would be hard mentally. I don't know if I'd be able to do it, but I do think it's not a bad idea.
Because, like, honestly, I feel like I wanted to trade him straight up for Cam Ward. And I'm like, in my head, like, probably the value is over on maybe Cam Ward. I don't know. I feel like the value in my head is the same. But just get rid of Herbert, and I'm just like, dude, I like Herbert. Like, I just don't know what to do with him, so.
I would hold on to him.
Well,
I'm not as worried. You mentioned Harbaugh, and he's not going anywhere. A lot of times you might buy a guy and say, oh, well, they might have a new coach. Harbaugh's going to be there.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about him only passing 450, 500 times because he's going to be probably throwing 9 yards an attempt.
Yeah.
But that's what, like, when you run the ball a lot, it's not necessarily because you don't want to pass it. It's because that's what you're just setting up the pass.
Right.
And look at Brock Purdy. He threw the ball 450 times in 1 year. He was QB6 or something like that.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, if you
Herbert's better than Purdy. So I'm
Yeah.
now they don't have quite as much talent as what the 49ers did, but
Right.
I don't know, because, like, last year, Herbert still threw 500 times.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I mean, if you look at the
pretty low,
attempts
though.
too, like it, at least in my opinion, I recall it like picking up as the year went on, where they unlocked the offense more and more for him.
Though you actually did say something pretty intelligent. So, he was QB 12 with 500 attempts. 2 years ago, he was QB 11 with 700 attempts.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't always, mean anything, but in the grand scheme of things, like 700 pass attempts is better than 500.
I would rather have 700 attempts.
Yeah.
But to me, it's not that big of a deal because
yeah, at the
usually
end of the day, you got to.
If you think he's good and it's going to be a good offense, that's what it comes down to.
touchdowns are what get you the quarterback yards more than the yards. And look at Matt Ryan threw 40 touchdowns in 1 year. He won MVP, and that was a Shanahan offense. That was probably 550 attempts. But your touchdown percentage is way higher.
Correct.
So,
yeah, and that's the thing about touchdown percentage is it doesn't stay up very often. It's I think about 4.9% is league average, and anything above 6 or 7 is a bonker season. Lamar just had where he threw 41 and probably threw the ball 450 times. Just absolutely unreal. That stuff almost never sticks. Pat Mahomes, he had 2 years in a row where his was 9%, and now he's just about average now at this point. It's just kind of the way football works, right? Things average out over time.
I feel
It's
like
just
Pat Mahomes he's kind of in the same boat as Justin Herbert, where it's you could sell him and he still has a lot of value.
Yeah, Mahomes is actually kind of picking up again. People were really dogging on him throughout the season last year, and they were he hasn't been a top 12 quarterback, but one time all the last 20 games, which is an insane stat, by the way. That's at one point was true. One time in the last 20 games is nuts.
Yeah.
And now he's right back up. I've been looking into some startups and stuff. He's an early second rounder. He's QB 6 off the board.
Well, he was doing awesome in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Stat-wise.
Oh yeah.
The Super Bowl was garbage time, but
yeah. I'll take garbage time.
Yeah.
Those stats count the same in fantasy.
Yeah. But it's not like that's going to happen usually for them.
Right.
So
yeah. Garbage time is normally for the other team.
Like the Jaguars, maybe, or. Yeah.
Actually, with last year, there was no garbage time in a single Chiefs game. Those were all down to the wire, and they won every one of them.
There was some garbage time in the game that I went to.
Yeah, well, when they play a rough team like George Pickens made a really good catch. That's kind of hey, George Pickens, fine. Talking about it, talking about it.
And just on like that, sell them. Because people want to buy them. Yeah, I think probably want to sell someone you definitely want to buy someone like Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge